After all the posturing, Twitter attacks, and negotiations, the two-day NATO meeting finally reached some decisions. One of the most meaningful decisions came regarding what Ukraine needs most: fighter jets. Secretary General Stoltenberg announced a new initiative to provide training for F-16 jets, which would commence within 2 months. He mentioned that 10 NATO allies would participate in this training and emphasized the need to ensure an adequate supply of weapons, considering it the most urgent task at hand. As the summit concluded, President Zelenskyy, despite his initial angry outburst on Twitter, acknowledged that Ukraine's membership in NATO would happen when security conditions permit. Secretary General Stoltenberg echoed a similar sentiment, stating that NATO allies must agree that the necessary conditions are met, particularly after the ongoing war ends. During the summit, Mr. Zelenskyy stood alongside Mr. Stoltenberg, who described the new commitment as a security umbrella, offering guaranteed military and financial assistance to Ukraine if required. He also mentioned that discussions on air defense and military aircraft would be conducted bilaterally with individual countries. When asked about the significance of NATO support, President Zelenskyy expressed that these security guarantees would remain valid as long as Ukraine is not yet a NATO member, emphasizing that such guarantees would strengthen its relationship with other NATO countries. Regarding the options considered by NATO, Secretary General Stoltenberg acknowledged that there is no risk-free choice for the alliance. He emphasized that Moscow should not have the authority to decide who can or cannot join NATO, asserting that NATO has ensured this does not happen. However, NATO was unable to determine the timing of Ukraine's membership. President Zelenskyy argued that delaying Ukraine's membership until the war ends only motivates Russia to prolong the conflict. While NATO agreed to expedite Ukraine's membership, the ultimate decision lies in the hands of Vladimir Putin and depends on when the war concludes. From Moscow's perspective, knowing that Ukraine will join NATO shortly after the war incentivizes prolonging the conflict. In my assessment, it would have been more effective for NATO to propose a compromise. Ukraine would not be immediately admitted, but if the war continues for another year, Ukraine will be granted membership. Such an approach would have diminished Mr. Putin's influence. Vladimir Putin cited NATO's increasing presence near Russia's borders as a key reason for invading Ukraine. By prolonging the war, he maintains a barrier between NATO and Ukraine. However, despite these concerns, the 31 NATO members were never going to agree to Ukraine's membership while a war with Russia is ongoing. None of these countries wants to suddenly find themselves at war with Russia. Ultimately, it appears that the conflict will worsen before it improves. It is likely that NATO countries will increase their military support to Ukraine significantly before Ukraine can join as NATO's newest member.